I'll get out there and talk to this guy.
Greenville City Council come to order for the council meeting on 6/17 of 2025. Call the roll.
Brown, Ely,
Present.
Godwin,
Here.
Norris,
Here.
Rogers,
Here.
White, Willman.
Here. All stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You all received the approval of the minutes by email. Was there any corrections or deletions? Seeing none, the minutes will stand approved. The approval of the agenda, we do have something to add in executive session after the call of council, being 121.22G1 of the Ohio Revised Code. And that is to consider the appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline, promotion, demotion, or compensation of public employees or official. Do I hear a motion to approve the agenda?
Make a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
Mr. Godwin made a motion to approve the agenda. Call the roll.
Ely,
Yes.
Godwin,
Yes.
Norris.
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
Willman.
Yes. Public hearings. Is there anyone here to speak tonight? Come to the microphone.
Good evening, Council. My name is Jordan Harmon, representing Priority Power. I spoke 2 weeks ago at your council meeting in this same public forum, and I wanted to follow up that tonight by saying that I hope you guys will, the council will reconsider the actions suggested on tonight's agenda regarding aggregation. Following the meeting 2 weeks ago, I emailed council members a copy of the handout I provided showing under AGE and now Priority Power's management of the city's electric aggregation program. The average household has seen around $1,800 in total savings, or about $300 to $400 more than that same household in Greenville Township, which is coordinated by the competitor you guys are considering switching the consulting services for the aggregation program to. I also emailed a similar report for natural gas. City of Greenville residents on natural gas since the inception of the program have basically seen a wash in terms of the standard choice offer versus the aggregation rate that we have seen. It's total savings of about $10 over that period. Same household in Greenville Township has seen about $160 in total savings during that period, so a little better on the gas side than we have been. But overall, minimal gas savings and pretty substantial electric bill savings. We value the relationship that we have had with the city of Greenville, and as one of the pillars of our group of communities that include Sydney, Urbana, Bellefontaine, Ansonia, Wayne Lakes, and some of the other smaller communities around those larger communities. Obviously, with the exception of me not returning Ryan's calls in the first quarter of this year on questions that he had about the rates and the capacity issues. That's an issue that has been addressed, in my opinion, and should council reconsider the termination of Priority Power tonight, it will not be an issue going forward. Thank you, and I'll stick around for questions later on in the agenda.
Does anybody have any questions as of now? Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else for public hearings?
Okay, I've got a few things that people have brought to my attention. I had someone stop at my house this evening. They had gone down to the pool, and they had only been in it for like 30 minutes, and then they found out they were closing early, and she said there was no sign to let her know. They did get their money back, but she she was a little disappointed over the fact that there was no sign posted, that they were closing early for some kind of meet. And I said, I'll pass on your concern. The other concern this individual had, and I never go to the pool, but she's talking about something to do with these red things, and Mr. Duck, I'm sure you're going to know what she's talking about, that the lifeguards use. And she says they're falling apart, and she's wondering, is whoever is in charge of this stuff, are they going to buy new ones? Because she said you can actually see the foam on them. Some of them are so tattered. And I don't know why she's concerned with it, but she is. So I said I'd pass that on. And then last Friday, I came up, or whenever that was, the first Friday that they had, fantastic. Whoever planned that thing with the dogs and the nonprofit, fantastic. I had a good time down there, but also some people came up to me, and I had mentioned to you at the last time somebody was concerned with the paint used at the end of Harmon and North Broadway till you get out of the city limits. Well, this person didn't even know I had talked about that, and she says, can you ask them why the paint doesn't show through on the entrance to the park, which means off of Main Street there. And she says, you can't see it. And so I said, I just brought that up, and they said they're going to repaint, but this is at the other end of the park, so that I've taken care of. Now, the other thing that person brought up to me was, and I've actually hit this, they're coming down Delaware. And when you come down Delaware, there's like a drop-off, and my tire hits that drop-off. Thank you. My tire hits that drop-off, and I'm thinking one day it's going to slip my tires, because you don't even know it's there. I don't even know how it got there. But anyway, she's hit it. And I said, okay, we'll pass that on too. Now, today I went down and I changed the message board. And then I decided to go around and pick up trash, because I've been down there several times in the weeks past, and I keep seeing more and more trash in the park, And so I took a bucket down there and I started picking up trash. And there's a slide that I had brought to the attention of some people that it had a small crack in it, probably about an inch. I went over and looked at it today, and it's probably about 9 to 10 inches, and it's separating. And I'm a little concerned that when a child gets on that slide, they're going to cut their hands. So I don't know what to do about that. It's that cream-colored one that sits right there beside the large shelter. I think what's going on as the kids come down the slide, they probably grab it, and it's making that crack get bigger and bigger. So I addressed that. Now, my question is to the attorney or to Mr. Delk. I would like to volunteer some time down there, because people are telling me they don't let their children go there or their grandchildren go there anymore because the park is dirty. And I can understand what they're seeing. There needs to be some paint jobs. I would be happy to paint for you if you buy the paint and give me the paintbrushes. But then I found out somebody says you can't do that because they don't take volunteers. And I volunteer for other things. I don't understand why the park wouldn't let me go down there and paint these things. When you put a fresh coat of paint on something, that makes you feel better. So like the monkey bars and several of those things, all the paints come off. And I want to paint those rocks that goes around that sand thing. And so is there a law or is there a rule that says you cannot volunteer in the park? Because I used to go down there and plant flowers. Years ago, I volunteered that. Got the flowers, and Deb and I worked on that for a whole week. So just for my own knowledge, can I volunteer down there, and would you allow me to paint?
Mr. Raven, is that a liability issue?
So we can accept volunteers. We have group volunteers in the park all the time. It's just the biggest thing is we want to make sure that you're checking with us and getting pre-approval. So everybody's not coming in that you don't go in and you want the monkey bars blue and then the next person comes in and paints them green and that kind of thing. So it just needs to be coordinated with us, and I defer to Mr. Delk about making sure that what is being done is what the city wants. Sometimes, even with the best intentions, you get somebody to volunteer that can make a situation worse.
Yeah, so we have a waiver that we require all volunteers that do volunteer work in the park to sign. and we sign that waiver. Normally, it's, church groups or different things like that, different sporting teams or something.
Or whoever.
Yeah, and it's usually more like a cleanup type thing versus painting items. We've ran into some issues over the years with painting. Sometimes people aren't as good of painters as you would like them to be, and it's a bigger mess after the fact, but it is possible. I think it's more of a park board question, though, than a council question.
Okay, but I didn't know, I would like to get started. If you can get the paint, you don't tell me when.
Well,
I'll
as
show
I
up.
said, I think it's more of a park board, like.
Okay, so you're gonna bring it up at
I'll
the
bring it
next
up at the next
park
park
board
board
meeting, and
Yeah,
that's in
or
July?
You can. You'll be
Okay.
here, I'm sure.
And then we have to wait another 30 days to find out what the answer is?
No, I think they can give you an answer there. I do, so to address the slide, actually, that's on the agenda tonight for a Dark County Parks grant, so that is applying to replace that slide that you're
Okay,
referring to.
good.
So that's in the
That'll
works.
be better.
Obviously, there's a lot of things with the tornadoes and the parks being rebuilt, and as we kind of get phone calls and people wanting to donate, my suggestion recently has been, we need new playground equipment or update playground equipment
Yeah.
and things like that. The other thing with painting, we can check into them, and I'm not super concerned, but there are some things that you might not want to put paint on just because of what kind of playground equipment it is, like if it's slippery all of a sudden because of this different kind of paint. So we just have to make sure we check everything.
Can you
before
look
we
at
do
the
it.
monkey bars and those rocks? You have already painted those rocks once. That's around that large litter box, I call it. And to me, that would be a no-brainer. I'd be
Yeah.
happy to do
And
that.
I think the park board's plan with those is to tear that whole area out, but we can, like I said, that's a park board question. We can talk about it at the park board meeting.
Okay, because I'd hate to see that destroyed when there could be some possibility. There was actually a lady down there today teaching in one of those shelters, and I thought, wouldn't it be great if I had brought up at the park board meeting about putting an old-time little miniature cabin that if you go over to Winchester and see what they've got in their park, it's a nice little drive over there. You drive around. They have a dog park within their park, but they have the coolest little cabin that kids can go in and play. And I thought, well, that would be kind of neat to carry on that theme of, and I could probably find somebody that would build that cabin and make that sand pile more of a learning thing than to have all that sand there, because there's 5 feral cats down there, and we know what feral cats do. And so I had talked to Ryan about that, and so maybe, I don't know, if they're gonna tear it out, who knows what they'll put there then, so. Okay, that's all I have this evening. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.
Anyone else to speak to public hearings? Seeing none, we'll move on to administrative reports. Mr. Mayor?
Will pass.
Safety Service Director?
Thank you, Mr. President. Some updates for this evening. First, solids handling project down at the water reclamation facility, got that right tonight, is started and they are going at it hard. If anyone's driven by, there's fencing going up and excavating going on and a lot of job site trailers and semis in and out. So they're moving along rather nicely on the solids handling project. The Schweitzer Street project, I was just submitted today with the right-of-way plans. So on Schweitzer Street, we do not have to obtain any new right-of-way, but we do have to get what ODOT refers to as temporary right-of-way. So when we do the work, for example, the sidewalk's going to be right on the back side of the right-of-way, so then we have to go out and get temporary right-of-way for the grading and to put things back. So that's what we're going to start working on the Schweitzer project, and I have to submit that by the end of 2026, so we'll get started on that portion of the Schweitzer Street project to keep that one moving. The Green and Marion water line projects, Chippewa is in that as well, and ARC. I just received 95% plans today, so we're going to review those and work on getting things ready to bring the council for approval to send those to bid. We do have a little bit of a hiccup on the Chippewa water line, just so council is aware. Behind Treaty Manor, where Chippewa turns into Marion, it's not actually a street. according to the deed records, and it's owned by Treaty Manor, so we don't want them to start charging a toll to drive through there. It's a joke. So we have to,
Parking lot.
yeah, we have to get an easement through there and clean that area up. It's been like that for as long as I can remember. So no worries there. It's just going to take some time to get work through it. Water tower, what we're waiting on now is EPA loan approval, which is supposed to happen the 4th week in July. So I should know the rates and where that's headed probably at the first meeting in August. And last but not least, I would like to request a meeting of the Drug Prevention Committee to talk about a few things. We've received 2 requests from outside sources, one from Leeds, which is formerly We Are Majority, for a request for some funding, and Boys and Girls Club for some funding. And then we have, I received a request from the police chief to look into adding a second canine drug dog. The prosecutor's office has agreed to pay for the dog and the upfitting of the cruiser and the training portion, but we would have some carrying cost for the dog. So we want to just take a look at that and see if we can make that fit into the opioid funding. And with that, I'll answer any questions, but I will pass.
I just have one thing, Ryan. A couple of people approached me about the park ponds and the stocking, and, you know, whether or not we stock them. I have a routine, you know, annual, biannual, or anything of restocking them.
Yep.
They were talking about some people put them on the stringers and you see them hiking down the street with the fish or catfish or what have you, but yet is that in the plan? We haven't talked about it for years.
Yep, absolutely. So first, stocking the ponds, yes, some years we do. We have not in a few years just because of budget constraints, but we normally apply for, Walmart has a grant that we apply for to stock the ponds. We will apply for, I don't think we got it last year, but we'll apply for it again this year, and if we get it, we will use that for stocking. Just as a reminder to everyone, the park ponds are catch and release. There are signs out there now. Enforcing it and
Right.
what to do when you catch them is a different thing, but that is the process for out there.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I need some clarification, please.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, in regards to the opioid, you said another dog, and what were the other 2 items?
We had a request from a group called Leeds that is formerly We Are Majority, and we had a request from the Boys and Girls Club.
I would like for you to share the contacts of those 2, Leeds and Boys and Girls Club.
Yep.
Because as we establish a meeting, because I'm the chair of that committee.
Yep.
As we establish that, I would like to have what their proposals are.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely.
Will need to fit within the guidelines of the Ohio Revised Code, how you can disperse that money. It's basically education. I can see on the Leads, and I could see the dog, but I don't understand the concept behind the Boys and Girls Club. So if those people could get me, reach out to me, I would appreciate it. You know, if you can give me the contact, I'll reach out to them and invite them to a meeting.
Yeah, absolutely. And I can send you what the request was for both, and it'll have all their contact information on there. But I think, my opinion, that's one reason I want to request the meeting, because we have these sitting out there, and like, what are you guys going to do with them? So let's get together and talk about it and figure out how we're going to move that forward, and if this is the correct path or we need to figure out a different path.
Yeah, because I just as a footnote here, I've been working on waiting until we get our new superintendent and working on developing a drug education program within the school system. But I need a new superintendent before I can get that done.
Right.
Just stating the facts.
Yeah, nope, absolutely.
All right, so I can call that meeting as soon as I get some more information.
Yep, I'll forward it to you tomorrow.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
Who's on that committee with you, please?
Chris, Chris is, and I'm done.
Okay.
Lord of mercy. Greg. Mr. White. Mr. White.
Okay. Anything else from
I'm good, I passed, thank you.
Law Director, Mr. Raymond?
Thank you, Mr. Council President. Just two quick updates. One, I've continued to work with the General Counsel for Omni Fiber, and I think we've come to hopefully an agreed resolution regarding the door-to-door solicitations that will allow us to leave part of our ordinance in place currently, and so I'll provide some more updates once we get that fully hammered out, but it seems like we're going to be able to kind of find a middle ground where we don't have to completely abandon what we have, which is a good thing. And then secondly, we had a citizen come in and ask about if we would look into ordinances regarding the number of cats and dogs, and so I've done some work on that, looking at various other cities, and essentially the cities that have ordinances in place, kind of the sweet spot, it's as few as 3, as many as 5 for the places that regulate it, and it's a combination generally of cats or dogs. There's exceptions for puppies and kittens. Essentially, it's 5, not including animals that are under 3 months old. And so there's the precedent out there to do the regulation. It's just a matter of what council wants to do moving forward, if council wants to assign that to a committee to look into further, or what you want to do.
That's for houses,
Per dwelling units, correct.
separate from apartments or duplexes or things like that.
So it typically, the ordinances are written per dwelling unit, and so it would be per apartment or per resident address, essentially.
I've been by that place that the person in question that came and complained about, and I've been by there probably 12, 13 times, and never heard the first dog, never seen the first dog, except out front. Somebody was walking one out there and it looked like it's old, wouldn't run away, but didn't look vicious, but I don't see anything, I didn't see nothing wrong down there.
Tim? And if that's what council wants to do, it's clearly up to you guys. So, the main thing is the precedent's there. If you want to regulate it, if you feel it is a problem, if you feel like you don't want to create a problem where there is none, then we can just let it lie.
I would agree with that. Just let it lie.
Anything on the nuisance properties or that we're trying to get cleaned up or anything?
Yeah, so we continue with Chad to keep working through. I think Mr. Delk, we had talked, there's currently like 60 open cases. We've got 5 that are ready to go to court as our next wave. It's tougher in the summer months. You get the clean outs and you add in the yard mowing, but we're continuing to focus on that. Chad's been doing a good job in terms of working with property owners. Again, it's always our hope to get voluntary compliance. And we've had some pretty good success with that. And now we're continuing to move forward on the ones that frankly just are non-responsive.
Another clarification that may go to Ryan, on the alleys and where they've got a fence at their property, is the weeds and so forth on the other side of the fence close to the alley their responsibility also?
Still their responsibility, so that's been a big topic this week. So we have 68 open noxious weed yards right now, and I would say 10 of them are those situations that it's just they're mowing their yard, but they're not maintaining their weeds on the backside of their property.
Okay, thank you. Anything else for you, Mr. Rubin?
Nothing else this time.
Yeah, I'd like to touch on the Omni Fiber thing. I seen some people today going door to door, and they didn't have the purple shirts on, so there wasn't Omni Fiber. And they both had clipboards and they were going, but we was talking, I think I was talking to Kim about, having to get, would they get the name badges or something identifying who they are? Because neither one of these people had a name badge on or anything.
Yep, so with Omni Fiber, the agreement would be that they would register with the police department, they would have photo identification, they would have clothing that would clearly identify that they were working for Omni Fiber, and then while we haven't come up with the exact times, there would be restricted on the times in which they're allowed to go door to door. And then the biggest thing, which I think is a good reminder for everybody at this time, and Ryan and I had talked about, is even if solicitation is allowed, the property owner still has the ability to post a notice on their door. And if that notice is posted, even if the city allows solicitation, they can't go up to that door. And so Ryan and I had talked about going ahead and preparing kind of generic notices for people that we could have up here at the city building. You could come in and pass them out, and essentially most people just kind of tape it to your screen door. It's not the best looking thing, but it does have to be posted in a visible spot. And if you've got family members or friends that you think would be prone to kind of being unduly influenced by some of that door-to-door sales, we just encourage you to get them to post that notice on their door.
Sounds like an excellent idea. Anything else for Mr. Raymond?
Thank you.
City Auditor, Ms. Davis?
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to advise council that the preliminary budget for 2026 is due to the Dark County Auditor by the end of July. The departments have submitted all their budget. The information has all been gathered and the appropriation worksheets have been completed. We currently are waiting on workers' comp policy to get us a calculation to be assured that we are calculating that correctly and we have the right rate. Once that's received, everything will be done, and the appropriation worksheets will be emailed out by Monday, or they can be picked up at the office, whichever you guys would prefer. Ryan and I have reviewed them painstakingly for 2 or 3 days. We are presenting a balanced budget. And keep in mind, this is just a preliminary budget. It's a rough draft, and the final budget obviously will be reviewed in the fall as normal to complete our permanent budget. Our plan, or my plan, is to request a vote by council at the next council meeting in order to get the proper approval to submit that budget to the county. And I will make sure that anybody that has any questions to please contact me. Be happy to go over it once you guys have had the opportunity to review what is there. So does anyone have any questions currently that I can answer? Yes.
I do.
Okay.
Can we look at, when we see the 2026 first cut budget,
Yes.
can we see that with an overlay of the 2025 approved budget?
You should
Narrative?
have
Will it all
that
be-
all together. I can get, it will not be all on one worksheet if you want it by Monday. We won't be able to, but I can give you another copy of the 25 that you can lay side by side if you wish.
I think that would be an advantageous way of looking at it.
Actually, no, I think, no, it is there. Just the approved budget,
that's
not the
right.
year-to-date, excuse me.
Right,
Yes.
budget to budget. This is one time we'll talk budget
Yes.
to budget, not
Yes.
actual to budget.
Yes, so it is already there, because we use the
there,
same
that's-
appropriation worksheets, so the 25 budget will be there, and then the previous years when we did the 25 worksheets, the 26 is just added to the left, and so that will be there as well. Like, it'll be 26, 25, 24, 23, I think we're down to 20. 2020 is the last year.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, anybody else have a question? Okay, and then the only other thing I have is the supplementals. The supplementals, there's 2 for consideration this evening. One is for crime prevention. These funds were received from drug fines, so this is not new, this is not revenue. This is drug fines that we received in, and the chief would like to use these for community outreach. The other one is maintenance on our fire department vehicle that was damaged. Our apparatus was damaged. This is a supplemental to that original claim. So there was more damage to the fire apparatus after they got in there and started working on it. So this is just the monies that was received from the insurance carrier to complete that repair.
This was insurance money as well.
Yes.
This transfer,
Yes,
transactional only.
yes. Does anybody else have any other questions? Okay, with that, I will pass.
Thank you. Hold on a
Yes.
second.
Okay.
Yes,
On the crime prevention,
yes.
what is that $2,500 to be spent for? I mean, it's $2,500, but what are we doing with it?
I know, let me see if I know. You know?
Yeah.
For sure? I probably do
yep.
too, I have it here, but go ahead. Ryan knows off the top of his head. Go ahead, Ryan.
Absolutely. water bottles, backpacks, challenge coins, thing that so they've been going around to different events, and they have a tent they set up, and they hand out drug prevention literature. They take aughts a lot of times and talk to kids, and then pass these out. They're also looking into getting, I'll call them baseball cards.
Balance coins.
Trading card.
Trading cards, there you go. There's some down in our lobby. Many, many years ago, we did trading cards with all our officers, probably back in the 90s,
Probably.
I would say. And so they want to,
And that was a big hit with the kids.
it was a huge hit, and so they would like to do that again as well. That's what it would be used for.
Okay. Good. Okay, you're welcome. Thank you.
Okay, moving on, we'll move on to committee reports. We have none. Move on to the ordinances and resolution. First one will be a resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into contract with Village Green for transit services.
A resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into contract with Village Green Healthcare to provide transit services. This resolution authorizes the mayor to enter into contract with Village Green Healthcare to provide transit services with compensation in the amount of $22.65 for each person each way.
That's the third reading. Second.
So that's second reading. Okay, we've all heard the second reading. The next one is a supplemental ordinance.
An ordinance to make additional appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the City of Greenville, State of Ohio during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2025. The supplemental ordinance allows for appropriations in the general fund in the sum as follows. Crime Prevention Police Department in the amount of $2,500. These funds will be used for community outreach. Maintenance Fire in the amount of $6,284. These funds are being appropriated due to a reimbursement for an accident that occurred. The repair required a supplemental for additional repairs to the fire truck found in the process, and the funds have been received by the insurance company.
Make a motion to suspend the rules in this ordinance and read it by title only, second, third time.
Mr. Godwin made a motion to give it the second and third reading by title only. Call the roll.
Ely,
Yes.
Godwin,
Yes.
Norris,
Yes.
Rogers,
Yes.
White, Willman.
Yes.
An ordinance to make additional appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the City of Greenville, State of Ohio during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2025. An ordinance to make additional appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the City of Greenville, State of Ohio during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2025.
Motion to adopt?
Mr. Godwin made a motion to adopt the ordinance. Question? Call the roll.
Ely,
Yes.
Godwin,
Yes.
Norris.
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Willman.
Yes. Next, we have a resolution authorizing the application for Community Parks Grant Program 2025.
A resolution authorizing the filing of applications for the 2025 Community Parks Improvement Grant Program. This resolution authorizes the city to file an application to the Dark County Park District for a community park improvement grant.
Do I hear a motion?
Make a motion to suspend the rules on this resolution and read it by title only, second, third time.
Mr. Godwin made a motion to read the resolution second, third time. Call the roll.
Ely,
Yes.
Godwin,
Yes.
Norris.
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Willman.
Yes.
A resolution authorizing the filing of applications for the 2025 Community Parks Improvement Grant Program. A resolution authorizing the filing of applications for the 2025 Community Parks Improvement Grant Program.
Motion to adopt a resolution.
Question?
Yes. Can you, is there a set amount that you apply for, or is this a board that tells you that we can give you 1,000, we can give you 2,000? What's the deal?
So, yeah, it's not a set amount. It's through Dark County Parks grant program that they do. We apply for it every year for a number of different things. This year, $12,500 is being applied for to replace a slide in the park.
To police, what?
A slide, like the slide that Mrs. Deere was talking about.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
That's the only thing, right?
Yes.
Any other questions? Call the roll.
Ely,
Yes.
Godwin,
Yes.
Norris.
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Willman.
Yes. Resolution passed. Next, we have a resolution declaring necessity for repairing sidewalks.
A resolution declaring the necessity of repairing certain sidewalks in the city of Greenville, Ohio, requiring that abutting property owners repair the same. This resolution declares the necessity for the city of Greenville to repair certain sidewalks under the Sidewalk Project Phase 3 and requiring abutting property owners to repair the same.
You've heard the reading of the resolution.
Make a motion to suspend the rules on this resolution and read it by title only, second, third time.
Mr. Godwin requested we move to have second and third reading by on this resolution. Call the roll, I'm sorry.
Ely,
Yes.
Godwin,
Yes.
Norris.
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
White.
Yes.
Willman.
Yes.
A resolution declaring the necessity of repairing certain sidewalks in the city of Greenville, Ohio, requiring that abutting property owners repair the same. A resolution declaring the necessity of repairing certain sidewalks in the city of Greenville, Ohio, requiring that abutting property owners repair the same.
You've heard the reading of the resolution. Do I have a motion?
Motion to adopt.
Motion by Mr. Norris to adopt the resolution. Call the roll.
Hold
Oh,
on.
I'm sorry, question.
Discussion, thank you.
Discussion.
Yeah, I got questions.
Mr. Dell,
Yes, sir.
this is budgeted city sidewalk repairs or non-budgeted?
This is Phase 3 sidewalk repairs.
That's all that it is, Phase 3, not additional for the city to do city?
Correct. So through the ORC, through the sidewalk program, this is a requirement that they require us to pass a resolution of necessity to follow the ORC, and this gives us the ability to assess after Phase 3 of sidewalks.
So if we don't pass the resolution of necessity, we can't tack it onto the property taxes. So the necessity is what allows us to allow homeowners to pay it over time. The nice part about the change that we did in Phase 3 from learning from Phase 1 and 2 is you'll notice the legislation behind this is actually to accept the bid. So before we had done it with estimates, now we're actually able to do it with hard numbers. And so some of the complaints about the variations between the bids and the actual bills should all go away from Phase 3 forward.
Okay, part two of my question.
Okay.
Does this now take into consideration fixing our sidewalks in front of this building? Like where the bricks are no longer there?
So we have a plan to replace the bricks, but we're not in this phase.
It's not part of it. But we're gonna do that
But we're gonna do that anyways, absolutely.
Yeah, when?
We worked very hard on all of our sidewalks in the park and properties that we own, because we don't wanna tell people to fix their sidewalks when ours aren't fixed, so working through that, yes.
And that was my point, because this is one that people should be coming to
Yep.
public hearings and saying, rules apply to thee, not only me.
Yes, sir, and it's supposed to happen this summer, fall probably at the latest, and we'll stamp it just like we did the downtown ones.
That's fine, thank you.
You're welcome.
Very much.
Any other questions? Call the roll.
Ely,
Yes.
Godwin,
Yes.
Norris.
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
White.
Yes.
Willman.
Yes. We have a resolution accepting America's Decorative Concrete bid for sidewalk project Phase 3.
A resolution accepting America's Decorative Concrete Ltd. bid for sidewalk project Phase 3. This resolution authorizes the Safety Service Director to accept the America's Decorative Concrete bid for the sidewalk project Phase 3.
You've heard the reading of the resolution.
Make a motion to suspend the rules on this resolution and read it by title only, second, third time.
Mr. Godwin has requested we accept or hear the second, third reading by title only. Call the roll.
Ely,
Yes.
Godwin,
Yes.
Norris.
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
White.
Yes.
Willman.
Yes.
A resolution accepting America's Decorative Concrete Ltd. bid for sidewalk project Phase 3. A resolution accepting America's Decorative Concrete Ltd. bid for sidewalk project Phase 3.
Motion to adopt the resolution.
Mr. Norris made the request to accept the resolution.
Mr. President.
Discussion?
Mr. Dell.
Yes, sir.
So this amount directly ties to the hard quotes going to all the people getting sidewalks repaired.
Yes.
So you can lay one over the other now and say they all add up to this amount.
Yep, so what we did on this phase was bid it prior to sending out engineers' estimates, so the engineers' estimates have the actual bid numbers on them, and they were sent out last week, 2 weeks ago.
So this is the hard quote numbers to the citizens, the aggregation of the hard quote numbers.
Yes, that's correct. There are some in there, like there's some areas that are city's responsibility, like, but yes.
And then this is like a maximum contract for ADC, and so anybody, because you still have the opportunity to complete the work yourself. Part of the contract reads now that ADC essentially gets any work that hasn't been completed by July
15th.
July 15th, so
Yeah.
you get time to do it yourself. Essentially, if you want to.
And we have sent out pre-letters explaining the process to everyone, and in the past, and we will continue, if you're not done by July 15th, if you come in and you get a permit and say, hey, I have someone lined up, like, we'll work with you. It's not a hard, fast date.
How many years do you, if you go out and do the front of my sidewalk, how many years do you have to pay it back?
5.
10 installments.
I couldn't remember.
Yeah.
There was some people that's up there in a cul-de-sac, I guess they got it hit pretty hard.
Yeah, some of them in this area were extremely bad.
Yeah, it's like in a little circle. Then are they going to fix I don't mow it anymore, but up there at Berkshire, the water shut-off that's in the sidewalks?
Yeah, those are all identified in this as far as adjusting the water shutoffs.
Sidewalk.
Yep,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Any other discussion? Yeah, Mr. Duck, how many other people actually quoted for phase 3?
So we had 3 total. One was actually lower, but they were not a responsible bidder, like their math was wrong and they didn't put in all the right documentation, like non-collusion affidavit, and there's a list of like 8 items you have to, and they didn't do that, so then we consider them a not responsible bidder, but 3, to answer your question.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else? Call the roll?
Ely,
Yes.
Godwin,
Yes.
Norris.
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Wellman.
Yes. Next, we have a resolution to terminate agreement between Priority Power Management.
A resolution to terminate the contract for aggregation representation with Priority Power Management LLC. This resolution authorizes the Safety Service Director to send the notice of termination to Priority Power Management for representation for citizens in obtaining electric and gas aggregation rates.
You've heard the reading of the resolution.
I don't know about suspending the rules on this one. I would say just read it once, Leon.
Okay, you've heard the first reading.
I think
Next, we have a resolution authorizing the Safety Service Director to enter an agreement for aggravation with Treble LLC.
A resolution authorizing the Safety Service Director to enter into an agreement for aggregation consulting services with Traybell LLC. This resolution authorizes the Safety Service Director to enter into an agreement with Traybell LLC for the provisions of consulting services to obtain gas and electric aggregation discounts for the residents of Greenville.
You've heard the first reading on the resolution.
Mr. President, can we have some discussion on this one, and put the two together?
I'm great with it if you guys are great with it. I said I'm great with it if you guys are great with it.
Well, do we have enough ducks lined up to make a versus B decision? Do we have a clear understanding of what we gain from B that we don't get from A? You know, the advantages, the disadvantages, the wheres and what fors. Do we really feel we got our arms around this thing? Or is it just, we're going from, we're not happy here, we're going over here? I'm just.
Nope, absolutely. So I'll try to answer. The answer is yes. I wouldn't have brought it if I didn't think that we had a clear path, personally. I checked with 3 other aggregation consultants, one being Palmer Energy, one was Energy Alliance, and then one was SOPEC, which is a council of government. And then contacted all the municipalities I could get a hold of, or villages or townships that use those. SOPEC, a lot of bigger cities, Huber Heights, Xenia, Beaver Creek, are working on going to SOPEC, the Council of Government. At this point, they only do electric aggregation and they don't do gas aggregation. I personally don't feel it fits for Greenville, Ohio. It's very based on renewable energy, and you don't get the gas side. When you talk to So I talked to Bethel Township and Greenville Township about Trebo. Nothing bad, all positive things. But also Palmer and Energy Alliance, there was no negatives. Everybody that had them or have had them were good with the service that they provided, and they said they were responsive, and that is the biggest thing, is, making sure they're responsive. Now, with all that said, as Mr. Harmon mentioned earlier, he sent us this information, and there was a difference on the electric side over the last 9 years. There was pretty much a wash on the gas side over the last 9 years. And when I say that, when you're comparing Greenville Township's rates to City of Greenville's rates. And, as I said last time, and as Mr. Harmon mentioned, I just didn't feel like we were getting the customer service that we deserved. He's addressed those with me. I'm not saying that he's not gonna
Do better.
give great customer service, and that's the whole reason that I brought it to all of you, so we could have these discussions and we could see which route would be best to move forward.
And the one thing that sticks in my craw, when Trable was in here the last time to present to us, they talked about, it's not about saving money, it's about service and responsiveness and availability, and it's all that. If it's not really driven by saving money, which kind of rubbed me the wrong way of we're providing a service, we're not really here to try to save you money, but we're here to make sure you get good service. And I'm not sure if that fits for what we're trying to do, is it? I mean, service is great. Service should come with a service organization.
So I personally think you took that a little out of context.
Okay, maybe I did. If I did, I'll back off.
And that's just me. I mean, he's here, he can get up and talk, both of them. We can have an arm wrestling match, whatever you want to do.
No, it's okay.
No, just joking, sorry. Any person you talk to and any consultant you talk to, it's all about hitting the right mark. It's you're betting the market's going to go up, so it's lock-in time. And if you miss that mark, because none of us have a crystal ball, you don't save money. I don't think he meant it that it was that we don't care about saving you money, we just want customer service. And that's where I'm coming from.
I'm wondering if some of my fellow councilmen thought.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'd just comment too, just a little bit, that, we're definitely looking at this as, this is something we want to make sure that the citizens of Greenville are saving money. And that's the whole point of the thing. Customer service is definitely a high thing, we got to keep track of it and make sure that we're getting what we think we deserve. But we still got to keep in mind that this is a savings for our residents, and we want, like you're saying, everybody said, we don't have a crystal ball, but
No.
it's something we really have to keep track of and see where it's going, and maybe we have to make adjustments in the future too, but I want to make sure we do what we can to make sure we're saving money for it.
And I don't know, and when you're just comparing Greenville Township to Greenville, it's tougher. I get it.
Yeah.
But, and you go through those, and I don't know if you look at those Excel spreadsheets, but, there's periods of time where they were cheaper, periods of time where, and it was all about timing. And a lot of times it's pennies, but pennies are a lot, and pennies add up. You know, you mentioned the last time about, I think our last gas aggregation was, if you went to Apples, or, you know, got on, you know, you could get out of your contract and go to a different one, you could get a much better rate. But the problem is, you know, I think for our responsibility side is, you know, it's a service that we're providing to our citizens. And the problem with aggregation, again, my opinion, is it gets very confusing and people get worried because you get into a contract and then you feel like you're going to miss the opportunity to get in the city's contract, and you have to really read all the fine print and make sure you're not going to have opt-out cost or fees to go with it. So we kind of get to set our expectations to our consultant, but then at the end of the day, you know, once the deal's been made, there's no turning back from it at that point if the market falls.
Yeah, and I think from Mr. Wilman's comment, good service is a given. That comes with doing business. If you're going to be a supplier, good service is mandated as a given. If you don't get that, then you shouldn't be in business. But saving money is the objective for the citizens. And that's what I'm trying to grasp. Are we chasing good customer service, or are we chasing saving money? Which are we driving for, and are we confident that we're going down the right path? I'm not sure we are or aren't. I'm just, there's 7 of us to talk about that.
On the contract with Priority, how long do we have with them yet, or is it a renewal, or
Well, we have an opt-out clause.
how long do we have with them? With that, are we doing the
So
opt-out?
we do not have a current gas aggregation, you know, but they're working on it, wanting to work on it. Our current electric aggregation goes till December, so we're locked in until December. We can opt out of that, I believe it's in 120 days, but we wouldn't want to because we have a good rate and it's till December.
Thank you for answering the questions.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we've heard the resolution read. Anything else for it? Nope. Same as number 6?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, it's been given the first reading. It'll be on the agenda for next year, or next meeting, next year.
Hopefully resolved before next year.
Yeah, hopefully. I might get all this down by the time my term's up. Okay, the next one, resolution authorizing then and now certificate for Atlantic Emergency Solutions.
A resolution authorizing a then and now certificate for Atlantic Emergency Solutions. This resolution authorizes a then and now certificate for the Atlantic Emergency Solutions invoice in the amount of $6,292.
Motion to suspend the rules and read this resolution by title only, second and third time.
Mr. Godwin requested we give the second and third reading by title only. Call the roll.
Ely,
Yes.
Godwin,
Yes.
Norris.
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
White.
Yes.
Willman.
Yes.
A resolution authorizing a then and now certificate for Atlantic Emergency Solutions. A resolution authorizing a then and now certificate for Atlantic Emergency Solutions.
Motion to adopt.
Mr. Godwin moved to adopt the resolution. Question? Call the roll.
Ely,
Yes.
Godwin,
Yes.
Norris.
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
White.
Yes.
Willman.
Yes. Next, we have a resolution amending sections of the codified ordinances and personnel policy manual.
An ordinance amending certain sections of Chapter 252 of the codified ordinances of the City of Greenville and the Personnel Policy Manual for the City of Greenville, Ohio. This ordinance amends various sections of Chapter 252 of the codified ordinances and Personnel Policy Manual pertaining to the compensation of vacation hours and uniform allowance for City of Greenville employees.
Heard the first reading.
Motion to suspend the rules on this ordinance and read it by title only, second and third time.
Mr. Godwin made another motion to read second and third time for the ordinance. Call the roll.
Ely,
Yes.
Godwin,
Yes.
Norris.
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
White.
Yes.
Willman.
Yes.
An ordinance amending certain sections of Chapter 252 of the Codified Ordinances of the City of Greenville and the Personnel Policy Manual for the City of Greenville, Ohio. An ordinance amending certain sections of Chapter 252 of the Codified Ordinances of the City of Greenville and the Personnel Policy Manual for the City of Greenville, Ohio.
Motion to adopt the ordinance?
Mr. Norris made a motion to adopt the ordinance. Question?
Could someone explain, Mr. President, I'm sorry.
Yeah, so there's essentially three changes. The first two are on vacation, and it's to mirror the union contracts that we have. So we always strive for uniformity across either our union employees or non-union employees. And so we made a change to vacation, how they could cash it in the union contracts that we approved. This just extends that same thing. It allows them to cash in vacation hours once they've hit 8 years. They can then cash in a week, and it helps with overtime and filling gaps. And then the other main change that there was is we've added in our code enforcement officer, and we've got an inspector through the street department. It provides them a uniform allowance so that they can have city-branded shirts when they're out and working. There's uniform allowances in the union contracts, but because they're not union employees, we didn't have anything specifically for them.
And the cashing in vacation is new for salary, for non-union employees? Is
So
it a new feature?
It had always been that we moved it,
The cashing in was something that was negotiated in the last union contracts for this year, but we've never changed it in the codified to make both of them match. So it would be new for any non-union employee. And the reason we weren't in a rush to do it back when we did the union contracts is they're not allowed to cash it in until November, so we had time. So now that we have the other two, we're just cleaning it up and making them mirror each other.
So it's taking money in lieu of vacation time is all it is?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Thank you.
Anything else? Call the roll?
Ely?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
Norris? Rogers?
Yes.
White?
Yep.
Willman?
Yes. Okay, that concludes the ordinances and resolutions. We have nothing in the old business, we have nothing under new business. Council representative outside committee, architectural review board.
Brian.
Name's Brian, okay. And he's not present tonight.
Or, I think Mr. White's on it as well, aren't you?
Not as a council member,
Oh, okay.
just to be clear.
Okay, communications.
We received the monthly reports of May from the Income Tax Department and the Street Department, and the monthly reports of April and May from the Transit Department.
Call of council.
Ely?
I passed tonight.
Godwin?
I'd like to thank the department head for coming tonight. And thanks for people that came, and I'll pass.
Norris?
Yeah, I appreciate all those who showed up tonight. We really appreciate it. Kudos to our police department for the handling of the, I'm not going to use the word protest, around the traffic circle and people voicing their opinion and so on. I thought it went smooth. I talked to Sheriff Whitaker last night after a meeting, and he, with the police chief being gone, he said that Lieutenant Monin did an excellent job in working with his department, so I commend the police department for that. I think that was excellent handling of things, and everything was nice and calm. That's the way we like it. I would like to have a motion to excuse the absences for the month of June, please.
Mr. Norris requested we accept excuse the absences. Call the roll.
Ely?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
Norris?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
White?
Yep.
Willman?
Yes.
That'll pass.
Rogers?
I'm going to pass tonight.
White?
First off, my apologies for my tardiness this evening, but I had a really good golf match going. And I was going to leave it, but I was going to give up the extra points if I left, and I took a clean sweep of all 10 points that were available to me. So I couldn't walk away from it because I had to give up like 4. Anyway, thanks to everybody for being here tonight. And I'll pass.
Roman?
Yeah, thanks for everybody being here. Go to all the department heads that come, and really all the people that work for the city. I appreciate everything they do. So One thing I do want to kind of bring up, again, thanks for coming, but pickleball courts. I spent the last several years, they came in and complained to me too, and it's like, so it's my turn to complain. So I think every village around the area even has pickleball courts. I think we should really make an effort to get some put in. I don't know if the idea of putting them in the, what do you call it, the skateboard park is a good idea. It does become noisy. So a lot of people have expressed their opinion that it would be nice to put them out in North Park. And yeah, I know we have it on the, lined off on the basketball court, but every time they want to play basketball, then they have to move over. The balls are in everybody's way, going back and forth, basketball, pickleball. We should put a new court out in North Park. Leave it that for now. I'll bring it up every meeting.
You're gonna donate that?
Oh,
Ask James how much room you have in your driveway.
Pretty much, the way I've asked around, pretty much the cities are taking care of all their pickleball courts. So we'll see, I don't know. All right, I'll pass.
Can I ask a question, even though I passed? Is it too late to put in for a grant for pickleball courts?
I have searched high and low for pickleball court grants. I did have a line on a grant through T-Mobile that was not guaranteed, but for $75,000. Last that I ran the numbers, it was about $175,000 to put in pickleball courts. And that was when we were going to apply for that grant. And at the time, the city administration discussed it and was like, can we really afford to put $100,000 with this to put in pickleball courts? And so.
Indoor?
No.
Including the building?
Yeah.
A suggestion would be for someone, a citizen or a business person or whatever, maybe start doing a fundraiser for that purpose.
Janet has volunteered her services many a times at the park board meeting. I can attest to that.
I have worked on this for like 5 years, and I will say this, I know that public speaking is done, people don't like North Park, and this is why. That's secluded out there. I go out there, I get creeped out sometimes. And I was told by a person just recently that there were homeless people living in that woods back in there. And when you go all the way back there, like I do, I was walking that track, it's kind of creepy. And so, and then they do have the pickleball court, and I know some people who played it, and they said it wasn't a good setup out there. So, you had mentioned that it would be a good place for it. But if you want people to rent the shelters, then have something for them to do, and to have a badminton, volleyball / pickleball court would bring people out. So that's what I think. I'm sorry.
Thanks,
I didn't
Janet.
understand it.
No, I love it. They brought it up. I wanted everybody to be on the same
I
page.
wasn't saying a word.
So your contact for the Boys and Girls Clubs right here.
Well, then get me a
What do you
proposal.
need?
I want a proposal, what you want to do and how it's drug related.
Things have changed how when we first put it in, things have changed.
Okay, well, get me a proposal.
I need a motion to rise to executive session.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Godwin. Call the roll.
Ely, Godwin,
Yes.
Norris.
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
White.
Yes.
Wellman.
Thanks, everyone, for coming.